Hi. So, so today we're doing the fact checking interview. Um, it's me, AZHAR, and HAIKAL. Yeah. So today we are going to interview uh, Vasco from Portugal. I mean. So, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, what's going on? My name is Vasco. I was born in Portugal in Lisbon, which is in Western Europe. Um, I've moved around quite a bit. I also happen to live in England, so I've been able to experience two different cultures and live in two different, completely different areas of the world,
Nice.
which is quite fun.
All right. Okay. So we finished with the introduction. Let's start with the first question. Okay. So first off, we want to ask, did you struggle with the phonology of English, being a native speaker of Portuguese?
Um, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think I was blessed enough to learn English at a young language, so my brain was still developing.
Mm,
And it's a lot easier to learn a language when you're still quite young and a child because your
yeah.
brain is still like in a developing mode. Um, so it wasn't that hard. And in Portugal, English is already a big language anyway. English is already a big language anyway. Everyone knows how to speak English because they learn it in school. So even those like short years that I had in school in Portugal, I still kind of learned a little bit. So I think I was like already basically ready to learn, and I didn't find it hard to adapt at all.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Do you think being able to speak English as a second language shape your ideas about and your perception of the world?
Um, I don't think it helped shape them. I think it helps me to understand other perspectives. I think it allows me to take in information a lot easier than other people that are limited to only speaking one language. I can understand a lot of other people, but I think me personally, I don't think it helped create my own perspective. I think it's always just been the same, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Right. I understand. Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, that's what happened between us. That's how we met, kind of, right? So,
Exactly,
yeah, that's
exactly.
cool. Okay. So, the third question, um, is Portuguese culture one that emphasizes on speaking, or is it one that views silence as more important?
Definitely emphasize on speaking. I feel like if you ever go to Portugal and you see two native Portuguese people interact with each other, the way they speak and communicate with each other, it's almost as if they've known each other for like so long. But it's just we share the same upbringing, kind of. So we all kind of like treat each other as if we've known each other. It's almost as if the whole country is like this one massive brotherhood and like this one big family. Like we're all emphasized on like speaking with each other. We're all very like close. Like we might like tap each other on the back whilst we're speaking, or like hold someone close, or like we're very contact based culture.
Mhm.
We don't shame from being like confident or anything. We always say what's on our mind, etc. Um, which is I think is very different from the culture that's in the UK. I feel like they're the opposite in the UK.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that actually.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for the fourth question. Contact culture or non-contact culture? Which one describes Portuguese society?
Yeah. Like I said, yeah, I feel like uh Portugal is a very contact culture based. We like to get very hands on and everything. Um, we don't shy away from that. I think it's just the way the country's developed and everything. Um, of course, it's ever changing, especially now with technology. Um, but I think deep down, I think a lot of cultures in Europe are the same, where they're very hands on. They don't shy away from that. So I would say we're very contact based. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, for the fifth question is are there any common gestures that would be interpreted differently in Portugal compared to the rest of the world?
Uh, Maybe if it's from like a completely different side of the world, maybe if it was like from Asia or something, maybe. But I wouldn't happen to know any gestures. Apparently, unfortunately, I know there's one that Southern Europeans use, which is kind of like a bad word where they kind of like do that, which basically is just telling someone like I don't like you. Well, that's very much only used in like Italy, Spain, and Portugal. It's not very used in any other countries. So I guess maybe that, but any other gestures, I think they're very much known throughout the world. So I couldn't tell you one specifically.
Okay, well,
Okay,
that's fine.
it's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. So, have you ever found yourself to be the subject of stereotyping?
Yeah, of course. Uh, if we're just basically speaking on the my Portuguese culture, Portuguese people are very known to get first of all the countries seem to think we're all very hairy, which isn't true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard
yeah,
of that
yeah,
one.
Especially French people. Yeah, like they seem to like think we're like very, very hairy, which I never got. Me personally speaking, I'm not that hairy. Like, they all seem to think we're very loud and obnoxious, and we make a lot of noise, which somewhat, I guess, we're all very talkative. We like to talk a lot. We all got like extravagant personalities, but I wouldn't say we're obnoxious. I think we very much know how to act in front of other people. Um, and then this one specifically just in Europe, but a lot of other Europeans seem to think we're very rude. Um, I personally don't agree. I don't think I'm very rude. Everyone I know is very nice. Um, so yeah, it's very common for people to think, oh, he's Portuguese. He's gonna treat me like this way, this way, this way. It's gonna be this way. But I think I'm very much not tied to those stereotypes.
Okay, all right. Next one. If you somehow find yourself involved in an intercultural conflict with a high degree of ambiguity, how would you handle it?
That's a very good question. It depends on the conflict, of course. If it's just some person like having like a problem and he's like sharing his opinion or just being very rude, I guess I would just like take it on the chin and like try not to get like physical or aggressive because there's a lot of idiots in this world who just like share their opinion and their opinion seems to be like that. But of course, if there's things with like to be taken to like the extreme and they were like trying to like get rid of my culture completely, then obviously I'd be a little bit more. I'd have to defend myself. Like I'd defend like I'm very patriotic. I very much like the culture. I'm very proud of my culture and my country. So I'd obviously I'd defend it. I'd like try to stop the conflict as peacefully as I can, obviously. But like I said, it really depends on like how extreme things are getting. I'd say.
okay. So moving on to the second last question. Are you accepting of the way your family handles conflicts, or do you downright disagree with their methods?
I think I would agree with my family's way of handling conflict. My family's way of handling conflict is always very peaceful. They always try to speak first, and and yeah, of course, sometimes it can be quite stressful, especially when you're young. You always, when you're young, you're not as wise.
Yeah,
You're not going through their life
I can
choices.
relate to
So
that.
yeah, so you always want to like get hands on. Someone like especially when I was younger, I used to get so angry so quickly when the people would like when I'd have any type of conflict. My first like thought would be like, okay, I need to show this guy like I'm stronger, like I'm bigger, like I need to like assert myself and show and get rid of this. But right now, like someone who's grown up, mature, I can say that speaking to someone like getting to know their side of the story, getting to know both sides, like speaking to them, getting to know them, and then trying to handle it as peacefully as possible is always the best option. And yeah, I give thanks to my family. I think they've like helped me show the way.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So the ninth question. Um. Wait. Oh yeah. Okay. The ninth question. Is it common for Portuguese people to misunderstand Spaniards when they use similar words that have different meanings in Spanish?
Yeah, of course, especially Spaniards. Spaniards are tricky because their language is almost identical to ours. The only thing that's different is the way they speak, their accent, and the way they pronounce words. But there are a bunch of words that are the exact same as ours, but have like a little like switch in meaning where you can get very confused. I find myself speaking to Spaniards a lot and speaking to them in Spanish or in Portuguese, and then sometimes they'll look at me like, what did you say? And I'll be like, no, that means like this in Spanish. It's like, no, it doesn't, bro. You said something completely different, like and yeah, it's very common. Actually, not just Spain as well. You can find yourself with most Latin speaking countries. So like Italy, for example. Italy's a bit different because their language is a bit more different, but there are still words that are very similar in both countries that mean completely different things. So yeah, it's very common, I'd say.
Okay. So we're now with the last question. Do you think peace building is a thing we should strive towards, or is it an unrealistic goal?
No, I think it's always something you should always aim for. You know, especially in this day and age, it's so easy to get caught up in things, especially what you see online, and there's so much like false information that is like strived. But I think as a human being, you should always try to strive to be peaceful and like always strive for it. I think that's what the world needs. If we had more people that aim for that instead of like selfish like individual objectives. um I think the world would be a better place. And I think if we did manage to somehow achieve that, I think we'd take the next step in like human evolution. We'd step up as a species. We'd finally manage to get things done, which is hopefully we manage to do in the future.
Thank you so much, man,
Thank
for
you,
Yeah,
Pesco.
yeah. Thank you, Esco.
no problem. I'll be happy
Okay.
to help.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
All right, see you soon.